Happy Monday, people. I had to figure out where I am. There we are. Hey, hi. Happy Monday on the Morning Night Live, of course. And boy, lots of little just tidbits and news pieces over the weekend. Holy smokes. If you're looking on some of the aggregators and looking on our Discord and looking all over the place, there's news everywhere. But the big dust up that I laughed, well, I sort of laughed about was this dust up with Tucker Carlson. And I just realized I haven't necessarily tweeted out the show, but I think I think the military's response to something Tucker Carlson said kind of came off as too much. Now, what the hell is going on here? Oh, I see. I do have what happened to my alert box? That's weird. The alert box did not work. Let me try something here. Well, I hear it, but I don't see it. Okay, there's something going on with the alert box. First of all, thanks for the first sponsor of the day, which is Tall Person, who says, Happy International Eat an Animal for PETA Day. Oh, man. Yeah, there's something goofy going on with my alert boxes. Can you hear that? Do you hear that music? I'm just curious. Thank you, Tall Person, for being the first sponsor of the show of the day. And Tall Person,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
You are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. I'm not sure what's going on with my alerts today. Hopefully we won't have that really weird thing go on that happened last show, where I think every alert for the entire month was popping up, and I was like, wait a minute, am I getting a what do you call it? There has been an issue with Streamlabs. Yes, you're correct, Tall Person. There has been an issue with Streamlabs, and I just haven't quite figured out what the hell is going on. But we'll figure it out, and hopefully Streamlabs will figure it out, and everyone will have a great day. But for now, let me go ahead and play the intro, and then I'll get back to this. Thank you, Don Keatic, Gulf City Biker, and Trash Man. Oh, that's other super chats. Okay, thank you. It says, good morning, P-Dawg. Hope your day is going well. Well, thank you very much, and I hope your day is going well, too. How about we play the intro, and we'll make sure everyone's day is going well. There it goes. It's working again. At least it's working on that part. What the hell is going on? Okay, hang on. Let me check something here. Alert box. It's there. The thing's there. It sounds there. The visual's there. Oh, do I have this thing off? I don't know. Let's go back into main and alert box. There we go. I think I have it fixed. Let me just try this real quick. Okay, and there we go. Thank you, Don Keatic. All right, let's play the intro, and I'll be back in about 60 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P-Dawg Knight.
All right, stop the music. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dawg Knight channel on this lovely Monday, the 15th of March, 2021. Yes, you have 1 month to get your taxes done, and if you haven't already paid them, like myself, you probably should pay them too. I will be, as usual, paying in because that's how we have ours set up. We'd rather pay in a little bit during tax at the end of tax season to have the money all year. Some people like having the refunds. I don't know, whatever your thing is, do your thing, but just make sure you get it in. And hopefully in my house we still haven't gotten our stimulus because I had a little tax issue the last couple of years that I fixed, but for whatever reason they can't seem to figure it out. So maybe I'll even get stimulus money someday. But we'll be paying those taxes, and I'm fired up. Thank you, X Bubba Hotep, with another a test donation. Well, I like that. Thank you, X Bubba Hotep, for just testing the system for me. I greatly appreciate that. And, we could have. I'm speechless. I just, other than thank you, I appreciate that. All right. I also noticed that I did not send out my notifications this morning. If you are on one of the alternative platforms, for some reason, by the way, all of everything that I'm on has made me re-log in today. Has anyone else had that issue today? I haven't quite figured that out. Why that is, because I don't know if I don't recall. What? Oh, I see. I don't recall logging out of everything, but for whatever reason, this one doesn't. Well, there's one. Okay, Cloud Hub doesn't. Post has no content. Let's try that. Okay, we're good there. I'm sorry, you get to watch me make the sausage, I guess. We're good there. Yes. Although for some reason the thumbnail on Twitter always it doesn't update as fast as it does on other platforms. Like every other platform, I have the right thumbnail, and for whatever reason I don't on this one. If you got here early, you haven't seen the changed thumbnail. It's all about the Tucker Carlson dust up this week, in which they like trying to get Tucker Carlson. Get Tucker. It's like what's that movie? Get Shorty, that where they were trying to, I don't know what they were doing. Anyway, seems to be working well. People are still willing to pay their taxes after what the government's doing this last year. Mind blown. Yeah, well, you got to do that thing. I'm all over the place. Before I talk about Tucker, let's say good morning, everybody. How about that? I'm a little discombobulated now, but first in the chat today, testing the waters to see if this will be erased before the show. Justin Anderson, it's still there, and you're getting the bell. Thank you for being here today. Also, good morning, GunFox61. Good morning, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Good morning, Maddie. Good morning, Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate. Good morning, Mike Savage Blarg. Good morning, let's see, Jonathan Peterson. Good morning, Lord Stanhope, tall person. Why are you so angry? Not why are you so angry, tall person, but why are you so angry, the other person? Good morning, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian. Ahoy, ahoy. Good morning to Somnambule Nation. Thank you for tweeting out the show this morning. Good morning, Aaron Meredith, Adam Richard, Don Keenick, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. Good morning to, I said Adam Richard. Getting my bearing back on track after having to relocate and putting stuff on Odyssey while on 2-week suspension from YouTube. Oh, you're on, what the hell are you on suspension from YouTube for? They're so weird. They have some really arbitrary rules. By the way, I am also on Odyssey. I'm also on Rumble. I'm also on BitChute, Trovo, DLive, all kinds of things. Always PDawgKnight or at PDawgKnight, however they do it on whatever location you're at, but it's always PDawgKnight. Good morning, X Bubba Hotep. Have I missed anybody? Tarai Deos, how you doing? Good morning, Anna Lynn. Good morning, San. And Katie did skate. What's happening? You got to do Abby, Katie. Looking pretty good there. Well, always looking really good there. Good morning, Tyler F. And Sean D.W. I think, am I getting everybody here? I kind of am. Good morning, Infamous Ones and Snoopy. All right, that's everybody that's in the chat so far. If you come here afterwards, I may see it, I may not, and hopefully I'll catch it up. All right. Let's see here. Let's talk about Tucker first, because Tucker got in a little trouble over the weekend. Well, I don't know if he got into trouble or some of the military people who decided to respond to him got in trouble. Honestly, they should be in trouble, because I know just from my very minute military experience that you're really not supposed to really, it's never good form for military people to disparage civilians. And it's probably better just for military members to ignore civilians. Good morning, Ricky at Ravioli, by the way. But for some reason, I don't know if Tucker Carlson hit a nerve or what, or if just some of the woke people that were placed into the military by the two prior administrations ago, decided that they were going to answer to what a civilian said on a news broadcast. Good morning, Spidey Man. So the first article today from the American Thinker. Let's put this on the screen for you here. Kind of sums up what happened. And it's really, really strange. Really strange. I was dumbfounded looking at some of the... Well, I think it's a problem with Twitter, and there's some younger people in certain positions that do things, but I thought it was just going to be the younger people who might throw some shade at Tucker Carlson. But then we found it was some of the officers too, and that's what this article's about. Military officer class is as bad as its social media representatives. A former military officer friend likes to tell the story of attending a conference during the Jimmy Carter years. At the conference, one of the generals made a negative remark about Jimmy Carter. That general was cashiered by the end of the evening. That was appropriate behavior for a studious, nonpartisan constitutional military that represented and defended all Americans equally. The military's current war against Tucker Carlson for insulting it points to an end of that era. The recap. Last week, for International Women's Day, Joe Biden boasted that the military is engaged in the important work of designing flight suits for pregnant pilots. I'm not going to make a comment on that. You just put two and two together on that one and try to figure out where the four is. So Tucker Carlson pointed out that the American military has a problem if this kind of thing is a priority. Even as our military is obsessed with women, both real and fake, the Chinese military is aggressively becoming more masculine in orientation. In a war between masculine China and feminine America, no sane person would bet on America. That is Tucker Carlson's position. And in fact, they have a little clip here. I think they do.
So we've got new hairstyles and maternity flight suits. Pregnant women are going to fight our wars. It's a mockery of the U.S. military. While China's military becomes more masculine as it's assembled the world's largest navy, our military needs to become, as Joe Biden says, more feminine, whatever feminine means anymore, since men and women no longer exist. The bottom line is it's out of control, and the Pentagon's going along with this. Again, this is a mockery of the U.S. military and its core mission, which is winning wars. One of the few people who's been paying attention to this is someone who served in the U.S. military, Indiana Congressman Jim Banks.
Okay, so anyway, he's making that point. And in response to Carlson's comments, the military engaged in a personal vendetta against him. Someone named Omri Sarin says, say what you want about the left, but you can't deny their completionists. When those guys commit to reorienting to an institution, they show up, roll up their sleeves, and they take care of business. Because here's some of the responses to Tucker. Take a second for this to pop up. Sorry about that. And a minute for it to change. Okay, let's see if I can move this so you can see this. All right, so here's some of the responses. What it looks like in today's armed forces, Tucker Carlson. Get right before you go left, boomer. Wow, you know what this is? You know what this is? This is a this is an office within the United States Marine Corps saying this. Now, what's fascinating about this, I don't know if you can see this picture because I'm going to have to move the picture that they use. Here, let me make this smaller so this is not so difficult to see. Here we go. Here's the picture that they use. They put this picture up here of this woman carrying an ammo case and carrying a body. Now let me remind you something here. And believe me, I am not against women in the military. Here's the issue, though. The United States military has recently are reevaluating the physical requirements tests that they do. At one point, they had a physical requirements test for men, a specific one, and then they had a separate one for women in the military. And then they said, oh, well, somebody recently within the last 10 years, or excuse me, within the last 12 years, and I'm going to guess it wasn't the last 4, but within the last 12 years, said, well, no, we're going to kind of, what's that word? What's a word for it? They're going to have a gender neutral physical test for the military, right? Well, and they tried that for a while by watering down the men's test. Because the men's test, like, for example, the Marines, you had to do a certain number of pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, whatever, be able to do obstacle course, whatever. And because of the physiological differences between men and women, very few women could pass the men's test. So they had a separate test for women. Well, then they took the test and they made one. They said, okay, we're going to make it, just take this down a notch here and bring this up a notch here and have a gender neutral test for men and women, right? Just one that everyone should pass. But the problem is they just found out that only about 30% of women were able to pass the new physical test. And so they're reevaluating it again. So this picture that you're seeing here, okay, this is great. If you're out in the field, you're in a combat situation, you got to carry out one of your fellow soldiers, but I don't know if you can see it from the picture, but this woman is carrying another woman who probably is close to equal to her weight. She's not carrying a dude out of there. So anyway, we've kind of had to, they're reevaluating the test. So that was one of the responses to Tucker Carlson. Good morning, Ebony Williams. How you doing? Good morning, John Arnott. Good morning, Bastard Beast. Nice to see you all. Another response to Tucker Carlson with this guy, drama, my response to Mr. Carlson's comments. Now, this was a video comment. Let's see here. Here's this guy here. Now, I am very curious how long this guy is going to be remain in the military or not be reprimanded. So here's his comments.
Drama TV. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I call it. I'll apologize up front and tell you that I don't have cable news at home. I don't have it here in the office, and I don't watch a lot of drama TV. I understand some comments were made yesterday, and I watched the clip that Mr. Carlson produced as he referred to pregnant women in the military. I'll remind everyone that his opinion, which he has a right to, is based off of actually 0 days of service in the armed forces.
Irrelevant.
Let me offer you my opinion. My opinion is based off of 28 years of actual service in the military, 28 years in the Marine Corps, in combat operations out at sea and in garrison. And so he was talking specifically about pregnant women in the armed forces today and how it makes us less lethal and less fit and less ready. Let me tell you where he's wrong. Those decisions were made by medical professionals, by commanders, and our civilian leadership that allows for women to have more time with their children, to recuperate, to get fit and ready, to take that time that's necessary that our medical professionals know is needed, which actually makes us a more lethal and ready and fit force, ready to fight the wars of today and the wars of tomorrow. The bottom line is that we value women in our armed forces. We value those that have served in the past, and we value those that have served today. We value our families in the military.
Now, I'm going to stop right there for a second because notice, Tucker Carlson didn't say anything about not valuing women in the military, did he? Did he say anything about that? Did you get a hint that he was saying you shouldn't value women in the military? I think he was talking about the idea that that we need to feminize the military more or have maternity flight suits. I'm just curious because now maybe it's been a while since I've had to deal with anything military, But I believe that when someone gets pregnant in the military, they are sent off on a leave. So, and also, I don't know, I've heard people say that the number of women who get pregnant, especially if they're on ships, is a little bit unnerving too, particularly when they're not on a ship with someone that they're having with. I have no problem with good point. Able-bodied women is not the same as a pregnant woman. Like, stop it. Exactly. Who said that? I just saw it up there, and Moonbase Radio. By the way, good morning, Moonbase Radio. Thank you, Gunfox61, for the sponsorship through Streamlabs, who says, Marty, I'm not against women in the military. I'm against women in combat, and pregnant women should not be anywhere near combat zones. The U.S. military should have highest standards. Marines should be men only. Tucker is correct in this case. I am almost there with you 100%, except for the idea that Marines should only be men. Because combat Marines, I believe, should only be men, in my personal opinion. Unless, and this is a big if. This is a big if in my mind. Unless there are women, which I'm sure there are some, a very limited few, who can pass the same physical requirements as every other Marine in their unit. If that were the case, I would be fine, despite some of the other issues that could happen in a combat situation. But if there's a person who could, I don't think the requirement should be watered down. But I personally, I'm not a fan of having any combat Marines be women. Now I know there have been some fantastic pilots. That's a different thing to me. Although the issues are, they get caught by enemy mines and then they get tortured and whatever in a different way. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. Anyway, thank you for the sponsorship there, Gunny. All right, and then also a major general had to chime in. This is me yesterday conducting a re-enlistment for one of tens of thousands of women who serve in our army. Just a reminder that Tucker Carlson couldn't be more wrong. What was he wrong about there, Commander? It's not about the fact that tens of thousands of women serve in our army. That wasn't the point he was making. What's this? Oh, I don't need to see this. Do I need to see this? I don't even know. This is just a okay, that's just someone re-enlisting. Look, that's not the issue there, Buckwheat. And then a general chimed in, the senior major of the Army and a Pentagon spokesman. All of them attack Tucker Carlson for hurting women's feelings. I agree, Pat. Thousands of women have served honorably every day around the globe. They are beacons of freedom, and they prove Carlson wrong through determination and dedication. We are fortunate they serve with us. Agreed, because I don't think that was the point Tucker was making at all. Oh my God. And then it just goes on and on. Women lead the most lethal units with character. Do they now? Do they now? Okay, interesting. They will dominate any future battlefield we're called to fight on. Tucker's words are divisive, don't reflect our values. We have the most professional, educated, agile, strongest NCO corps in the world. Goodness me. Now, could these men be more woke or condescending in their defense of helpless military women? It also didn't seem to occur to any of them that if women in the armed forces cannot take some chaff from Tucker Carlson, they have no business being in the military. What are they going to do when the enemy attacks? Cry? Now that was an unnecessary shot. Come on now. Anyway, by Sunday, people were beginning to realize that the commanding officer in charge of the social media accounts should have stepped in and disciplined these people, just as That long-ago general was severely disciplined for insulting the civilian commander-in-chief of the United States military. Mollingham, however, stated what others had already figured out. The commanding officer is on board with turning a media figure, a conservative media figure, into the military's number one enemy. Gee, that makes sense. Sorry, I didn't realize I hadn't moved this back over. Yeah, what are they doing? Someone suggested alerting the commanding officer, Brian Russell, to the embarrassing attacks from IMIG official on a U.S. journalist who critique identity politics. You will perhaps not be surprised to learn he's all in on the attacks. As he said, just full of these great responses today. Maybe the military doesn't need to be responding to a political pundit. Now, Americans need to understand that this is not their dad's military. It's not even pre-2008 military. Barack Obama purged from the Pentagon anyone who was not with the new Democratic Party. This Pentagon trend worsened under Trump as people in the modern military resented the fact that he was not starting new wars and was drawing down troops. Trump's peaceful ways may have saved lives and money, but they lessened opportunities for advancement within the military and shut down post-retirement sinecures in the defense industry. With Biden ascension to the White House, the military has an openly partisan, pro-Democrat, possibly anti-American institution dedicated entirely into turning itself into a social justice avatar for American society while maintaining endless small wars across the globe for the benefit of military officers. George Washington weeps. And the military men and women who read this and disagree, don't attack me, prove I'm wrong by becoming more of a fighting machine and less of a muling college campus. Ding! Yes, thank you for that. Who's the writer on that one? I don't even know. Rodline, good morning. Me where you have a pregnant troop. The fire team is supposed to go and rescue a pinned team in the hot zone. What commander is going to order a pregnant troop into that firefight? Yeah, I mean, not that there's ever going to be a pregnant troop, but still, it's just, it's uncanny to me that we're having this argument. And Tucker didn't really, he wasn't disparaging women in the military in general. He was disparaging the fact that Biden's talking about, we need to have a more feminine military. We need more women. We need more this. We need more that. No, we just need people who are willing to fight and can fulfill the requirements. Anyway, which I cannot now, because I just, by the way, I'm finally going to go get my hip looked at. I've been pain in my damn hip for months now, and now my knee. So now we're going to go, today I get to go to the orthopedic, and I'm a little bit, I'm not trepidatious for that, but I am, I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to get down the stairs to get to the studio here. So we're going to find that out by the end of the day. Good morning, Jada Emerald. Good morning, Renee Mayette. Welcome to the show. All right. What else we got? Now, Ted Cruz also was a little miffed by these responses by military people to civilians, and he's got questions. Apparently, he's demanding a meeting. And he unloads on the military Twitter accounts tagging Tucker Carlson. So if you want to read this, it'll be in the tabs. I'll just give you the highlight here. Republican Texas Senator Ted Cruz launched a challenge Sunday to military personnel who've publicly attacked Fox News host and Daily Caller co-founder Tucker Carlson. Under Biden, the military is launching political attacks to intimidate Tucker Carlson and other civilians who criticize their policy decisions, Cruz tweeted, along with a copy of the letters he sent to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Officials in uniform are being used for the campaign. I've demanded a meeting with the commander of the United States Marine Corps to put a stop to it, and so on and so forth, as his letters there. And then basically citing Department of Defense Directive 1344.10, Cruz noted that members of the U.S. military are not permitted to engage in partisan politics in their official capacities. He then pointed out that a number of military officials using their official Twitter accounts had attacked Carlson over comments he made earlier in the week about the military's priorities under President Joe Biden. Well, good for you, Ted Cruz. You would think that the chain of command would have already figured this out, and there have been some apologies. The that Marine account said we made a mistake and shouldn't have done that. In fact, I might even have it. Do I have that bookmarked? I bet I do. By the way, real quick, let me do a couple thank yous here before I go to that. Thank you, Tyler F, Civic Magic, Jedi Ghost Bear, Renee Mayette, the great and powerful Q. Okay, thank you, Maddie, and also Sound on Bull Nation for tweeting out the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. And on that note, I need a minute, so why don't I just play the commercial instead of giving you my spiel? Here we go.
Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it, you're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at PDawgKnight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show.
All right. By the way, you can do super chats through Streamlabs and through YouTube Super Chat because I still have over 1,000 subscribers. Although I lose some now and then, but I gain some back. I don't know how that happens, but hopefully the goal now, like I said, I mentioned this last week, I am ready to step it up a bit. So I'm going to use my now vacated basketball time to work on the channel, making smaller videos, cutting up sections of this show, doing some short form videos and all kinds of stuff. So look forward to that as we go along. And please, please, please share the stuff that I put out. That because there's no YouTube promoting people like me anymore, and so they don't like the current events people. So it's up to you, and I'll do the things that I need to do to hopefully grow the channel and put some things out there that people will like and will want to watch every time. So so the Marine Corps account that did that mess with Tucker Carlson, well, they say that they messed up. Oh, what happened here? What happened here? Now what the heck? Hang on a second. Apparently, okay, I'm not going to do that. Let me see if I can do this through, and I'll sign up. I'll sign up for Epic Times another time, but I'm not going to do it right now because there we go. The Marines say they messed up after joining the military attacks against Tucker Carlson. The United States Marines said they messed up after joining the attacks lobbied by military officials at Fox News, Tucker Carlson. The official Twitter account for the 2 Marine Expeditionary Force Information Group used a pejorative in responding to Tucker Carlson. Recent statements on how the military should be focused more on adversaries and less on cultural issues. He says the Marines shared a picture of a female soldier carrying a male. Oh no, it was not a male. And that's hilarious. Wait a minute. Let's go back to that picture. Where is that picture that they used? If you look closely, let's see, where is it? Where the hell is it? Oh, this picture right here. What's funny, they say, even this article has it wrong. So they say, the Marines shared a picture of a female soldier carrying a male one and tagged Carlson, writing that the photo showed what it looks like to be in today's armed forces. Wrong! That is not a male, because when you look at the haircut, it's not a Marine haircut. It's not a Marine man's haircut. You can see the hair on this woman. Anyway, you got to see the photo closer. But anyway, get right before you go. And guess what? You know what? The other part of this is, just because even if this was a man, it doesn't even matter. Notice that this is a staged photo. There ain't no one carrying a photo out here with the thumbs up with this big old smile. Okay, they staged the photo. And so that doesn't tell you how far they walked at all. So anyway, real quick on the super chats. Thank you. The American Company's back. Our longtime sponsor, American Company, donated $2 under Streamlabs. And it says, $2 for Boomer Walker, although Marty may need one of those stairs chairs. American Company proudly supports the PDawgKnight show, now has Boomer Walkers for all your Boomer needs. American made and mob approved. Well, we'll see if I'm going to need a walker. I don't know. I was still playing, well, sort of playing basketball 2 days ago. I was limping playing basketball 2 days ago, but it hurt like hell. God, it's, I'm fixing my chair here. Getting old sucks. No, look, thank you very much, American Company. God, Fox. My son has hip problems and knee problems, and I think it's just from athletic usage over many, many years that can cause that. So anyway, all right, there we go, fix my chair. Good morning, MC. MC's in the house.
Hammer time.
All right. So anyway, after an intense pushback for using an official military account to attack a private citizen, the Marine group said, "We are human and we messed up. What was intended as a tweet in support of our female Marines and sisters serving in uniform was clearly not aligned with our standard practices or appropriate representation of the Marine Corps. We will do better and serve the people." Yeah, because... so they're apologizing because somebody caught the fact that they used boomer. Really, Marine Corps? Good morning, Thomas Cleaver. What's happening? And Jaded Emerald and Sean. Nice to see you. And Richo's in the house. How you doing? The Department of Defense Inspector General didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. The situation was the latest development in an ongoing clash between Carlton and the military, with some of the force's highest officials lambasting the Fox News host for his views. Carlton on March 9th on his show played comments. Okay, we know what the comments were. We know the whole story. But, yeah, I think somebody in the chain of command might have saw that and said, okay, who the hell's on our... who the hell's doing our social media for the 2 Marine Division of whatever the hell that was? And why are they engaging with a civilian in such a manner? Because they shouldn't be doing that. That's not really good military etiquette. Let's put it that way. So anyway, enough about that story. All these will be in the tabs. Let me see what else I got here. Let's see. Already talked about Ted Cruz. There's also a good article in the Federalist. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but what? Oh, something Google thing popped up. No, you don't need anything. There, stop. There you go. About Biden's speech last week, we kind of went over that Friday, right? And I guess I'm not the only one who noticed how the how do you say that? Hagiology? How they turn someone into an angel by the way they use flowery language and shit. Well, this would be a good one for you to check out. I'm not gonna, like I said, if this week you learned that Biden is hopeful and Tucker Carlson is evil, congratulations, you've been lied to. No song, but me grandma just turns 95. Just give her one of your blessings. Well, grandma, I'm assuming grandma down and under. I mean, I would give her a nice birthday song. You don't like birthday songs, though, do you, Richo? Doggone it. Well, everyone's saying a happy birthday to Richo's grandma, who just turns 95. Wow. That's fantastic. Yeah, my mom's 91. And she's 92 this year, but 95, man, going strong, I hope, and I hope she's healthy and happy, and a very, very happy birthday to the grandma a la Richo. All right, give her one of those. All right, so here's some of the headlines from last week. Wait, I'm gonna go do this first. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Who says, I remember that some women in the military would get pregnant on purpose to avoid combat deployment.
That's right.
Not to mention they're given promotion over qualified men because vagina is a true story.
That's right.
Okay, maybe I just haven't been around there for a while. I don't know that latter part is true, but it is certainly, I think it's something that people consider possibly being a thing that happens. But I know that, I do know that there's I would say, okay, let's put it this way. An unacceptable number of women who get pregnant while deployed. Completely and utterly unacceptable. Anyway, thank you, Black Hebrews Light.
That's right.
For the sponsoring the show again. Thank you so much. All right, here's some of the headlines that you would have read over the weekend. Biden tells nation there is hope after a devastating year. A hopeful Biden says, I need you. Biden sets vaccine goal that would allow Americans to gather by July 4th. These headlines from covers printed of the New York Times, the LA Times, and the Boston Globes greeted American Friday morning, 51 days into the Biden presidency and a full year into the beginnings of America's long lockdown experiment. Seven takeaways from Biden's primetime address, top CNN site. Chris Cillizza's first two takeaways: Donald Trump dug the hole. Was number one. Number two, a return to empathy. Chris Cillizza, it's worth noting, is a 45-year-old man and does not work for the White House. Last night is why Joe Biden won the presidency. Political playbook opened with a straight face. Now, if you haven't watched the president's primetime address, you might think it was anything other than the most depressing, defeated, and resigned speech since President Jimmy Carter held the office. We have a malaise. You might think he hadn't devoted his third sentence to basic attacks on his predecessor and the entire rest of his address to death, sadness, loneliness, and despair. You might think he had literally threatened the American people, warning, quote, we may reinstate restrictions to get back on track. Please, we don't want to do that again. Oh, yeah, you do. Rather, to read the Washington Post homepage featured commentary on the address, you'd think much of that speech was about hope. Quote, it was about seeing a shaft of light at the end of a dark horror. Robin Gibbon, a 56-year-old woman who once won a Pulitzer Prize for witty, closely observed essays that transformed fashion criticism into cultural criticism. His white French cuffs and his crisp pocket square, she went to tell us, evoked all of the institutional power and authority at his disposal to make things better. His mere presence on television, she insisted, was a declaration of his pride in the country's progress. Okay, then why hasn't he appeared at any press briefings or press conferences? Because he's not taking any questions. Anyway, if you're wondering why you didn't see any of this, don't worry, it didn't happen. But more and more, we all have to take a step back and throw some water on our faces and look around in disbelief at the state of our corporate media. Take the other big story of the week. Fox News' Tucker Carlson dared say that our country, faced with a vicious China growing ever stronger every day, shouldn't pat itself on the back for its military featuring maternity flight suits. This is so obvious it shouldn't need to be said at all, but the Pentagon felt the need to react anyways, launching a full-scale broadside on his heresy. Senator Tammy Duckworth, a veteran whose Black Hawk was shot down by insurgents, launched a fundraiser for her campaign called Fuck Tucker Carlson. Oh, how apropos for a United States Senator and a former military woman. The commander of the Space Force filmed an unintentionally hysterical video on his webcam reminding his delicate troops that Tucker Carlson thinking pregnant women aren't ideal fighting machines is based off of actually 0 days of serving in the armed services. Let me just tell you something. I remember when Lady Boomer was pregnant both times. Come to think of it, I was a little scared of her because, oh my gosh, have you ever dealt with a pregnant woman? Maybe the military commanders are right. Anyway, this kind of just recaps what we were talking about, but just, it's our media. Our media is so strange these days. It just is. I'm sorry. Let's see here. They'll eat another alive and keep storing ammo. Yeah, there you go. Keep storing ammo. I agree. Keep storing ammo. Let's move on to another topic. Because this was kind of interesting. Finally on CNN, there's somebody willing to at least take a stab at the truth, and I don't mean O.J. Simpson style, but I just mean getting a CNN guest calls out the Cuomo brothers love-a-thon during the pandemic. Unbelievable. A CNN guest may not be this guy may not be invited back for a while. If ever, after he called out the left-wing network for Chris Cuomo's absurdly flattering coverage of his older brother, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, during the pandemic. While appearing on CNN's reliable sources, which, remember, what reliable sources is? You know what the original purpose when Howard Kurtz did reliable sources on CNN? They critiqued the media's coverage on many different things. And it wasn't just a hate Fox fest like it is now with Brian Stelter, but it was actually they really went and analyzed how all the media analyzed the news, including this is CNN. But now it's pretty much just Brian Stelter constantly bitching about Fox News. Well, the Washington Post, Eric Wemple, decided to mention something that's been going on CNN for a while, and here's why he may not be invited back.
But I would be remiss, Brian, if I didn't mention CNN's own huge media story here with Chris Cuomo, the anchor at the 9 o'clock hour, who covered Andrew Cuomo and had all these wonderful love-a-thon interviews with him, more than 10 of them. And they suspended the conflict
look at
of
their
interest rule
faces.
for Chris Cuomo.
They are not happy. Look at them. Look at Brian Stelter. And April, look at April down here. She is not having this. She don't want to hear nothing bad about her man, Andrew Cuomo. Good morning, Evan. How are you doing? And thank you for the compliment on the Eric, what's his name? Mark Dice invitation. Yes, Brian just can't. He just looks very angry right now, and I hope that he's able to get through this interview. And I don't know if Eric Wemple will ever be allowed back on the CNN network. I'm just saying. Good morning, Grillin' Pirate Pete, by the way. All right, Ed Jonas Pedersen, how you doing? All right, Eric, okay, let's listen to the rest of what Eric has to say. And I just want to keep looking at their faces. Stelter looks very angry.
For those interviews, yet all of a sudden they've enforced it again now that Andrew Cuomo
is that SE Cup up in the other corner? Is that who that is? I wonder, is that SE Cup up there? I don't know who this is. And this guy looked like he died 6 months ago, so I'm not really sure. But April Ryan is not happy with this kind of talk. Oh, don't you ever. Anyway.
Now that Andrew Cuomo is in the midst of an historic scandal in the State House.
They were ready for this. Okay. CNN, I've got to tell you. They are analyzing media coverage of Andrew Cuomo. But no one want to talk about how Chris Cuomo, and his brother had their little love fest, talking about mommy's cooking and who makes the better sauce and what size of a Q-tip you need for your giant nose and shit.
I think that is a major black eye for CNN. I will say that you.
Notice, they don't have CNN examples. Look, they're showing what they do here. Yeah, they showed News. See, they show Newsday,
Scandal
the
in
New York
Albany State House.
Post,
So
Daily
I think that is
News.
a major black eye for CNN. I will say that you and other people have covered the Cuomo story very aggressively. So
No,
I do want to be
aggressively. Really, I've been looking for it. I really have. I wouldn't say aggressively is the proper word. They may have shown what other news outlets have said.
fair about this, but it is a major black eye for this network. But
Okay, all right. So I'm not so confident that Eric Wemble will be invited back, but good for him for actually saying something. I mean, if you want to watch Chris Cuomo, there's in that same article, there is the time when Chris was mocking his brother for the size of his proboscis, or whatever, however you say that word. But good for Eric Wemple for being strong. Here's now I'm just gonna go through a bunch of stories because I have so many things that I'm not gonna get too detailed on, but we'll just touch on a few here that have come up over the weekend. And this one, apparently Twitter is trying to get a lawsuit dismissed, a child porn lawsuit citing Section 230 immunity. Now, this, yes, this is the reason Section 230 exists. So I'm not so upset that they're using Section 230 for this, because that's what it's for platforms to not be liable for things that show up on their platforms that other people post. The problem is it distinguishes them from a publisher in that they're not editing or editorializing, or they're not acting as editors. Okay, problem is they constantly act as editors. In fact, they have a lawsuit in Texas. Well, we'll get to that. There's a lawsuit in Texas that Twitter is suing the state of Texas because of their editorial freedom of speech. But they have a Section 230 to not be liable for the speech that's put on their platform. Fascinating dichotomy here. But anyway, Twitter filed a motion Wednesday to dismiss a bombshell lawsuit filed in January considering the sexual exploitation of minors on their platform by citing protections from Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, a controversial clause that has protected big tech from viewpoint discrimination, and in this case, they claim child pornography being hosted on their platforms. The suit in question alleges that a young boy who was solicited and recruited for sex trafficking had to endure material depicting his own sexual abuse being promoted on Twitter, even after attempts were made to remove the content. Congress recognized the inherent challenge of large-scale global content moderation for platforms, including the potential for liability based on a platform's alleged knowledge of the offensive content if it chose to try to screen out that material, but was unable to root it all out. It reads Twitter's motion to dismiss, according to The Blaze, hoping to encourage platforms to engage in moderation of offensive content without risking incurring potentially ruinous legal costs. In the 1996 Congress enacted the Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, granting platforms like Twitter broad immunity from legal claims arising out of failure to remove content. Now, not saying that they haven't attempted to remove the content, although they tried. I don't know that they're as diligent as they are someone who might say a swear word or a something that could be construed as a slur or a whatever. But boy, they can sure ban they sure have no problem banning the anti-war left and and conservatives. I just got to tell you, for whatever reason, Twitter does not like the the progressive anti-war left, nor do like conservatives. And it's not like, by the way, it's not just conservatives they don't like, although you hear it from the conservatives because you probably hear more of them, but a lot of the anti-war left also gets banned off Twitter quite a bit. So anyway, oh, good morning, Now What, a.k.a. Woo, my friend from high school. Nice to see you in the show. Given that Twitter's alleged liability here rests on its failure to remove content from its platform, dismissal of the complaint with prejudice is warranted on the grounds alone. The motion continues, adding mistakes or delays do not make Twitter a knowing participant in sex trafficking venture, as plaintiff here has alleged. The plaintiff does not and cannot allege, as he must, that Twitter ever had any actual connection to these perpetrators or took any part in their crimes. Thus, even accepting all of plaintiff's allegations are true, there's no legal basis for holding Twitter liable for the perpetrator's despicable acts. Now, Section 230 says specifically, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be held liable on account of any action voluntarily taken in good faith to restrict access to or availability of material that the provider or user considers to be obscene, lewd, lascivious, filthy, excessively violent, harassing, or otherwise objectionable, whether or not such materials is constitutionally protected. So anyway, you can learn more about the suit, but that's what their defense is, Section 230. It'd be nice if they would follow the intent of Section 230 all around, but it is what it is. All right, moving on. Let's see. Oh, the news networks are having little, they're having a little, the business of journalism is having a little trouble right now, and the numbers are in. Trump's exit from the world stage led to a network's ratings bloodletting. Yes. Former President Donald Trump's departure from the White House has coincided with a sharp decline in viewership for numerous primetime cable news shows. A VIP analysis shows the size of the audience watching CNN Tonight with Don Lemon between March 1st and 5th was down 32.5% compared to the average audience between November 30th and December 4th, 2020, before President Joe Biden's inauguration and Trump's impeachment trial, VIP showed in its analysis. So here they're just showing the ratings, how down they are. CNN Tonight with Don Lemon down 32%. Anderson Cooper down 32%. Cuomo down 28%. All In with Chris Hayes down 16%. Even Laura Ingraham, Lawrence O'Donnell, both down. Hannity's down. Tucker Carlson's down. Rachel Maddow's down. All everywhere across the board. Just Joe Biden's boring. And, that's just how it is. But double yikes is advertising dollars is your thing. Primetime cable news changed in the 25 to 54 demo. So the money demo really down, like almost 30% across the board from here to here, except for Laura Ingraham and Tucker Carlson. Wow. That's so anyway. CNN shows appear to suffer the most sizable slumps for audience members in that time period. Anderson Cooper 360 had its average audience decrease by 32.2%, while Cuomo Primetime saw a 28.5% decrease. Yeah, because the CNN decided that they were going to be the all anti-Trump all the time network, and they had to compete with MSNBC for that, and now nobody wants to watch him. Especially, I'm pretty sure Cuomo's probably down because of his brother. But anyway, let's see. Let's move on. Breonna Taylor. Oh, yeah, there were Breonna Taylor protests this weekend. It was the 1-year anniversary of her passing, March 13th. Protests marking the 1-year anniversary of the officer-involved shooting death of Breonna Taylor turned violent in 3 West Coast. But it's funny. Everywhere, places other than Louisville, where she perished. And look, that case is just a tragic case, okay? It's a tragic case in that police in theory had a no-knock warrant, but they did knock. Even the guy that shot at them said they knocked. He admitted that they knocked, that they announced themselves. But he shot at them and they returned fire and she was killed and he was not. But she was not sleeping in her bed like some people say. It's none of that. It is, and the only guy who got charged was the guy who was shooting into the house from outside recklessly because it went into another apartment. Fortunately, nobody was injured due to his shooting. But if police have a warrant and they're breaking down the door and someone shoots at them, the idea that they're not going to return fire, it would be ludicrous. And I'm not thinking Luda, not that Luda, but ludicrous. And so it's just a tragic thing, and it's caused so much turmoil across the country because another black person got killed by police officers. They were murdered, so to speak. Anyway, marches in 3 West Coast cities became violent as protesters clashed with police and began destroying property. Fox News reported rioters threw rocks at police, vandalized police vehicles, and smashed windows of businesses. Videos posted on Twitter show the escalation of violence in these cities and police attempts to contain the violence. I'm not going to play the videos, but they're in the article here when you take a look at it. And in several cities, Seattle, Los Angeles, of course, Portland. Portland has its own issues right now. They're trying to attack the federal building, and they're doing it during daylight. Merrick Garland, hello, calling Merrick Garland. They're attacking a federal building and during the daytime. Is that considered domestic terrorism, Merrick Garland? I'm just curious. Anyway. What else is going on? Washington. Oh, yeah, the permanent military occupation of Washington. When are the troops leaving? Never. If Democrats have their way. 25,000 National Guard members were deployed in Washington, D.C. to protect Biden's inauguration from the threat that never existed, even though nothing had happened since the Capitol riot. And even though the 7,000 troops already in the city who had been authorized to use lethal force were far more than the 2,500 troops fighting in Afghanistan. More were needed. Democrats deployed 10 times more troops to fight other Americans than to fight Al-Qaeda. Every state, territory, in the District of Columbia will have National Guard men and women supporting the inauguration. The public statement bragged. D.C. was filled with armed checkpoints, razor wire cut off the mall as the city turned into Baghdad. Visitors to what had once been a tourist site were shocked at its transformation. $500 million was being spent on the Biden military occupation, but it wasn't going to the men. National Guard troops slept in the hallways of the Capitol, and then when their presence offended a Democratic staffer in cold parking garages, they ate bad food and they provided Biden with a captive audience as he took his oath of office, which he was already breaking. The occupation was based on supposed FBI briefings claiming that malicious actors may, that's definitive, incite violence during First Amendment protected protest. No such protests actually occurred. There was no emergency and there was no reason to deploy 25,000 troops in a government city that already had 5,000 police officers, including 2,000 dedicated to protecting Congress, with more law enforcement per capita than any single city in America. Why is it such a murder capital then? There was no emergency and there was no reason to deploy 25,000 troops in a government. Oh, I already said that. While Republican governors, including DeSantis of Florida and Abbott, Texas, began pulling out the troops after the inauguration, Democrats insisted on retaining thousands of guardsmen. Governor Pritzker of Illinois claimed that we must root out the dark forces of racism and white supremacy and disinformation that have created this moment. Well, at least he's got the disinformation right. How exactly the National Guard was supposed to do any of that was never explained. Republicans asked for a briefing but got no useful answers about what all the troops were for. Instead, the Department of Homeland Security used its National Terror Advisory System to issue a bulletin claiming that a heightened threat of environment across the United States would continue for weeks. All across the U.S.?
There are several upcoming events. We don't know what they are over the next several weeks, and they're concerned that there could be situations where there are lawful protests, First Amendment protected protests, that could either be used by malicious actors or other problems that could emerge, Secretary of the Army John Whitley had argued. You mean like the anniversary of Breonna Taylor's passing? Maybe? Oh, wait, I'm going to guess that they probably didn't have any troops in Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles this weekend. Anyway, this goes on and on and on, but I think you get the gist. Why, oh, why are they still there? Nobody knows at all. But they're going to be there for a while. All right, moving on. Remember we were talking about the Asian, the tax on Asians, the suddenly racist, anti-Asian tax all across America. Well, is it really Republican racists doing this? I saw another thing of this weekend where there was a fact check. There was literally a fact check about this. And they said, even though it's really as not necessarily it's already, oh, never mind. Is it really racist Republicans doing this, Tucker? Yang Ma take on lie that attacks on Asians are Trump inspired. Fox News host Tucker Carlson, the devil incarnate, if you ask some people, and author Yang Ma discussed the lie that Republican racists are behind the recent rash of violence against Asian Americans. Reports of hate crimes against Asian Americans have risen significantly since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, a problem Carlson said President Joe Biden linked to white supremacy in a Thursday speech segment he played on Friday night edition of Tucker Carlson Tonight. So again, Joe Biden is trying. Okay, should we just watch it? Let's see. Let's just watch the segment. Let's check out this segment by the Tucker. Hopefully, there's probably going to be an ad. That's what I thought. Oh, it's a silent ad at least. All right, there we go.
You've heard that there's been a dramatic increase in violence against Asian Americans. There have been a lot of stories about it in the media, and factually that seems true.
Interesting. I just talked about this last week.
Authorities say there's been a 1,900% increase in violence against Asian Americans.
1,900% increase. I'm curious. I am curious before he even goes into this. Oh, yeah, exactly, Bastard Beast. I'm curious if, because there is a big uptick in violent crime all around. I'm curious if I don't know. I'm just curious. What am I curious about? I don't know. I'm just curious.
Americans. The question is, why is this happening? Joe Biden has suggested it's happening because people on the right, probably white supremacists, have tied the coronavirus to China. So what's white supremacy?
Vicious hate crimes against Asian Americans who've been attacked, harassed, blamed, and scapegoated. At this very moment, so many of them are fellow Americans. They're on the front lines of this pandemic trying to save lives.
Are they, though?
And still, they're forced to live in fear for their lives just walking down streets in America.
This is okay. Oh my God! You know the other thing about this? I'm so tired of being told that I live in fear. Okay, for me, black man, right? I should be living in fear of the police. So if because just a police officer anywhere near me could at any time shoot me for any reason. Or for no reason at all, just because my skin's darker than most. Although I'm not super dark, but I'm dark, right? What's this thing about wanting everyone to live in fear? Okay, let's just keep going. Let's keep going.
So again, Joe Biden is tying these crimes, which are real, to the right. He's saying anyone who talks about where the virus came from, talks about how it may have escaped from a lab, is abetting violence against Asian Americans. That's why Asian Americans are being attacked. But it's a lie. The attackers don't look like Trump voters necessarily.
The terrifying encounter on February 25th captured on surveillance video. The attacker brutally assaulted her first with a weapon that appeared to be a rock in a sock.
I felt the impact, and next thing I knew, I was on the ground and I was suffocating in my own blood in the mask.
The accused attacker, 41-year-old Sean Holdup, is a former FDNY EMT with a violent past. With so many other attacks nationwide happening against Asians, many of them in Chinatowns, NASU believes she was indeed targeted for being Asian American.
Well, it's just awful. But notice the immediate need of people like Joe Biden and the rest of his party to make this into political ammunition. These kind of attacks are going on all over the country. In Philadelphia on Tuesday, for example, police have confirmed that a motorcyclist attacked an Asian American driver and began hitting him with cinder blocks. Here's part of it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I just saw this. This is just disgusting. Apparently, what happened, the biker, the guy on his motorcycle was riding in front of this and stopped really fast in front of them, and apparently the car stopped in time not to cause damage to the bike, but just it touched. Okay, okay? Okay, Richo, I'm going to ask you this right now. I'm going to ask you do not mention Becca's name, and Becca won't bother you either. Do not in my chat, okay? Please do not do that, okay? I'm asking you one time, period. Enough. If you have something you need to resolve, you resolve it somewhere other than in my chat, please. Don't want to hear it. All right, let's move on.
No, bro. No. Chill. Chill that.
What is this dude doing?
Is it really Republican racist doing this, as Joe Biden suggested last night, and so many other Democrats?
Yes, you didn't notice that he had MAGA tattoos all over his face and neck, Tucker. Didn't you notice the MAGA tattoos? His red MAGA hat fell off, Tucker. Pay attention.
Have told us. Yingma is the author of Chinese Girl in the Ghetto, and she joins us tonight. Yingma, thanks.
What the hell's going on there? Don Keating, thank you. Good morning, P-Dawg. Hope your day's good. Oh, that was already here. That was from before. Okay, see, now whatever's going on with my super chat, Streamlabs is having trouble. Anyway, so let me get back to this guest. Let me have Tucker introduce her again.
As Joe Biden suggested last night, and so many other Democrats have told us, Yingma is the author of Chinese Girl in the Ghetto.
Oh, that is from right now. Thank you, Don
Yingma,
Keating.
thanks so much for coming on. So the left has tried to politicize.
Tucker. Good to see you.
Good to see you. This violence from the very beginning, which seems low and divisive, but it also seems incorrect. What is your view of what's happening?
Well, it is not only incorrect, it is despicable. So let me first say that racism against Asian Americans or racism against anybody is not acceptable. And I don't doubt that to some extent the COVID virus has increased hostility or resentment or racist attitudes among some white people. However, in the most horrific attacks that we've seen on video, widely available to the public, time and time again, the attackers are not white. Like you said, they don't quite look like white supremacists. They don't look like white voters or Trump voters. And in fact, many of these attacks have occurred in heavily Democratic cities where they did not vote for Trump in 2020 or 2016. And so what the Democrats or the far left have done, actually quite effectively in the past year or so is to libel former President Trump for something that the Democrats themselves actually are very much guilty of. And what is that? And that is their silence and their cowardice before Black on Asian attacks that often occur in America's urban areas. And these are attacks I've written about for decades, the past 2 decades at least. And I've written about them in my book,
I'm not sure who
Chinese
Yingma
Girl
is,
in the Ghetto. And I know
but she's gonna
that
be canceled,
they have
though.
occurred frequently well before President Trump came onto the national political scene. And we're not talking about racial animus between the two races, but what we are talking about is that we must be honest.
I don't think you're allowed to be honest. I
No,
think
you're not.
That's
Ding.
the most severe crime you can commit right now, but I'm grateful that you're willing to risk punishment by doing it anyway.
Well, she is obviously a self-hating Asian woman who is racist towards Black people. So there you go. That's all it could be. I'm just saying. No. Believe me, she's not the first person to notice. After playing footage of some of the attacks, Carlton accused Biden and Democrats of making them into political ammunition. But anyway, as you saw from the segment there, someone else is noticing that might not always be what they think it is. It's very unlikely it has to do with Trump. Although, look, I know there's probably a lot of people frustrated with the lockdowns and things like that. And there are people who are going to scapegoat Asian people, which is uncalled for, especially Asian Americans. Hello, those would be Americans. How about we leave them the F alone? But now there's people out there who are trying to, in some places, kind of doing like the guardian angel thing, taking care of people who are just trying to get around their city and helping people. So anyway, good article. The American Thinker today, or from yesterday, the January 6th insurrection that wasn't. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but the attack at the Capitol started well before President Trump finished his speech at the rally at the Eclipse, as we have said over and over here. It says this attack was no spontaneous event, as alleged by Democrats, the media, and the radical left. It is evident that any police officer who's been on the police line, this attack was pre-planned when coupled with the intelligence compiled by the FBI, Joint Terrorism Task Force, and other agencies. From the videos, this is self-evidence. Coordination, tactics in engaging the police lines, hand signals, gas masks, bear spray, goggles, helmets, knee pads, improvised weapons, and milk to neutralize crowd control gases. It's indisputable the Capitol Police were understaffed and immediately overrun within seconds of the attack. The attack began some 20 minutes before the former president finished his speech. Others observed a noticeable lack of law enforcement present. That is usually standard operating procedure for these peaceful rallies and protests around the Capitol. MAGA supporters were calling out Antifa members as the Capitol was breached. In the video below, a MAGA supporter was desperately yells at police in riot gear, call for backup. This is our damn Capitol building. You are letting it get destroyed. It is clear they were not engaging. In all likelihood, they were ordered to maintain that position. See utter chaos frontline officers faced, as reported by ProPublica. This is the guy that was telling them, this is the guy who was yelling at the police.
Why are you letting this happen? Why haven't you called for backup? Where is your backup? This is our damn Capitol building, and y'all are letting it get destroyed on your watch. Football here. Call for backup. Get some help down here.
So anyway, most of the Trump rally goers had no clue that the Capitol was under attack and peaceably dispersed. It's unfair to categorize all Trump supporters as radical white nationalists who were there to attack the Capitol, has been the media's narrative. As reported by the LA Times, FBI Director Christopher Wray's recent testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee was disingenuous. As covered by OAN's Director Wray is either incompetent, deceitful, or lying that there was no proof that members of radical left organizations were not involved. The FBI can't find proof of Antifa involvement. OAN also reports other information against the media narrative that only radical Trump supporters carried out this attack. There are many videos of radical leftists, anti-Trump, John Sullivan before and during the attacks, inciting people to burn the Capitol down and pull Trump from the building. Sullivan was seen inside the Capitol, further instigating violence. Investigative reporter Andy No was one of the first to identify Sullivan at the Capitol. Sullivan, in a Twitter post in the OAN video clip, is wearing a Trump supporter hat with the caption, "Counter Intel." This photo appears to be taken in the hallway, hotel hallway. The media has mostly ignored that anti-Trump infiltrators were wearing MAGA gear. Screenshot of Trump hat from Twitter photos, still in OAN coverage. So that's the dude that's John Sullivan there. The FBI's JTTF, to its credit, gave local law enforcement, including the Capitol Police, advance warning of the likelihood of extremists would infiltrate the rally as cover to attack the Capitol. For one reason or another, this information was not acted upon by the D.C. police. Why? Still, the media narrative prevails, yet there is now evidence that extremists of all persuasions were involved in the attacks. See this recent interview, The Big Money Behind the Narrative, Cheryl Atkinson on Media Bias and Spin, with investigative reporter Cheryl Atkinson in her new book, Slanted, How the News Media Taught Us to Love Censorship and Hate Journalism. The Democrats and the media continue to spin stories that more armed insurrections are imminent for their leftist agenda of scaring the public. Glenn Greenwald unmasked them as the insurrection narrative crumbles. The Capitol Police chain of command is clear. The Capitol Police Chief to the Sergeant at Arms in the House, and then the Speaker of the House. If I were an FBI investigator charged with investigating this so-called insurrection, knowing the intelligence Capitol Police had, I would start with this chain of command to ask probative questions. 5 deaths were directly attributed to this attack that the media has bannered incessantly. In my opinion, the felony murder rule would apply to those who facilitated or aided in this attack, including those in the chain of command that denied the multiple requests of the Capitol Police Chief for more resources. Now, well, I'll finish this one. There are at least 2 possible scenarios why this attack was so successful, penetrating the Capitol building. One is the total failure or incompetence by the decision makers and politicians involved, influenced by the optics of the presence of law enforcement. Common sense would dictate a rally of this magnitude would be likely infiltrated by radical groups for their political agendas. Democratic operatives have done so before. If I were a Capitol officer, I would probably resign or retire, as my command structure placed me at immediate risk unnecessarily. As reported by ProPublica, I don't trust the people above me. An excellent account, except for the claim of an officer dying from a throat fire extinguisher, which that was not true. The second is that the top decision makers, including politicians, knew that an attack was likely. They intentionally understaffed and watered down the rules of engagement to facilitate this attack for their political agenda. The Capitol Police Chief's request for the National Guard before the event was denied. Trump reportedly wanted 10,000 National Guard troops in D.C. on the 6th, but Nancy Pelosi said no. The chief also said members of the Congress were briefed on the event. The decision makers then blamed the attack on Trump's rhetorical speech as inciting the attack, which they called an insurrection. The Democrat majority party of the House then launched an impeachment based on this narrative without any due process. It was evidence from the media coverage the narrative was going to be that Trump followers were white nationalists and incited by his speech to storm the Capitol. There are some 75 million Americans who are growing very weary of the radical left's agenda, its socialistic nanny state dictatorial big government. They are questioning the legitimacy of the COVID emergency mandates, the real threat and undue influence that China poses in the U.S., illegal immigration, election integrity, the cancel culture movement, the suppression of free thought and speech, and the D.C. politicians' collaboration with big tech, the media, and the radical left. That was redundant. Acting in lockstep, they are spreading disinformation, revisionist history, suppressing opposing points of view, and gaslighting those who dare to have differing opinions. Even Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head are no longer safe for people to read or use. Most of all, the people are furious about the breakdown of the rule of law and equal justice for all, and the hypocrisy of the rules for thee but not for me, where elitist perpetrators go unpunished. For further information on these issues, check out Ron White's previous articles. He's a retired detective from Riverside Police Department in California with a BA in political science from California State University of Fullerton and a master's of administration from the University of Cal Riverside. Let's see. It could be Randall Collins. I don't think it's. All right. So, let's move on. I'm just taking a minute here. Let me fix this. And, all right. Like I said, I got to get through this. Okay. I'm going to just tell you a little bit what articles are also going to be in the tabs today. And we'll just do a quick perusal of headlines. Apparently there's a college in Kentucky, Berea College, that's hosting an event called Trumpism, or calling Trumpism a form of terrorism. Yes, the narrative. Hello, Zablé, and someone else. Who else got here that I didn't say hi to? I think it was TC Ball. How you doing, TC Ball? The left's effort to demonize and criminalize all opposition to its sinister agenda is advancing rapidly. And so the news out of Kentucky's Berea College on Friday, as outrageous as it was, came as no surprise. Fox News reported that Berea is scheduled to host an event critical of Donald Trump and associating the former president and white citizenship with terrorism. But would Berea or other colleges and universities like it ever dream of holding an event about an actual terrorist, specifically Islamic jihadis? Well, not in your life. So here's let's see, I saw it down here earlier. So apparently there's a flyer going around in this college. The flyer features images of protesters carrying tiki torches at the racially charged Charlottesville, Virginia protest at the beginning of Trump's presidency, and it states, despite calls for multiculturalism and colorblindness, segments of white America mourn their so-called loss of privilege, consistently begging to return to the nostalgic past in which their esteemed value as white citizens went unquestioned. Trump's Make America Great Again appears to follow suit by offering a seemingly benign promise to return America to a previously great past. But the offer to make America great again requires we refocus on how the last 4 years of daily tweets and administrative actions redefine whiteness. If terrorism is defined as the use of violence and threats to create a state of fear towards particular communities and identities, then this is what Trumpism is at its core. Gen Xers, we need you. We need you to stop this shit somehow. You can read the rest of the article, though, there. Also, Biden apparently has refused to comment on Mario Cuomo's issues. Let's see, here's the clip. Let's see if I can get this here. Okay, come on. All right, hang on. Well, that one's not working. Interesting. I'll just tell you, there's clips of it all over the internet. President Joe Biden stood by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, both Democrats, on Sunday amid calls that Cuomo should resign amid a nursing home scandal and allegations of workplace misconduct. Now, this is a weird answer that Biden gave. So he was asked this: do you think Governor Andrew Cuomo should resign? A reporter asked Biden on the White House lawn. And Biden answered, I think the investigation is underway and we should see what it brings us, Biden responded. Investigation of what? Does he even know what he's talking about? What is he talking about? The nursing home issue? Or is he talking about the, now some 30, I think it's up to 30. It was 6 women who made complaints, but now I think a whole bunch more just came out of the woodworks. Like there's 30 now. And we know that at least the first 6, we know they all worked with him. At least they knew that they were in the same rooms together. We know that it had to be more recently, unlike the Brett Kavanaugh stuff, which really first of all, every accusation was retracted except for the one, the Blasey Ford, right? But, and even hers was even I don't even know what hers, well, no, first of all, no corroboration. What corroboration whatsoever. Anyway, Biden's not on board yet, but several Democrats in both, and I'm talking about Democrats in the New York House of the House and Senate. Their capital, whatever, legislators have asked for Cuomo to step down. Several prominent Democrats in Congress have done the same. So very interesting. Also in the headlines, De Blasio says Cuomo is literally in the way of us saving lives right now. Apparently he's too big of a distraction, according to Bill de Blasio. Now, Bill de Blasio is another interesting figure because I think he has ambitions to be governor, but I don't know. Mayor Bill de Blasio said on Sunday's Face the Nation that Governor Andrew Cuomo was in the way of us saving lives because he's busy dealing with multiple sexual misconduct allegations and therefore distracted from the coronavirus pandemic. Well, I got it. Let me just stop there, and you can read the rest yourself. It's not as if the governor runs everything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like there are plenty of people. I mean, he's got a Department of Health, and he's got, I mean, other than, out doing his little coronavirus TV thing every day and whatever. What does the one person, the governor, do to that stops you from saving lives? It's kind of like, all the people who blame Trump. Trump is responsible for all 550,000 lives that were lost due to coronavirus. No, the virus is responsible for that. And, the top advisor to President Trump was that little dude that, the guy that talks kind of like this, and he just wants to make sure you wear 2 masks now because now the CDC heard me say something about 2 masks, and now that, I said something about 2 masks, now the CDC recommends it too. And maybe, I think people are opening up their states a little too fast. And maybe, just maybe, you should wear masks even after you've been vaccinated, even if, even months and months. And you should probably, until at least 2026, we should be in masks, and you should probably stay home and not be out at unessential businesses. That guy, that jackass. Anyway, figure that out. Now, apparently one of Cuomo's accusers is being harassed because Biden and Kamala are supporting it with their silence. This is another kind of a look, just because they're not speaking out, I don't know what that means. Lindsey Boylan, the first woman who came forward to publicly accused New York Democrat Andrew Cuomo of sexual misconduct, says she's being harassed because top Democrats, including President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, have been silent on the issue. Although, now here's the thing. Her opinion is her opinion, but she is starting to get other politicians saying stuff, though. And granted, several New York assemblymen, or whatever they call them in New York, have called for Cuomo's resignation. People in Congress have called for Cuomo to step down. So I don't know if it matters as much that if Kamala and Harris, Vice President Harris and President Biden are staying out of the fray. And I don't know that Joe wants to, like somebody said in the chat, I saw someone put Tara Reid up there, Baby Joe just doesn't want to step in it because he's already, God, I was going to say put his fingers in it, but that would be a monkey joke. I can't tell jokes like Ranting Monkey, but I think I just said it, didn't I? I said that out loud, didn't I? Well, anyway, that was terrible. That was awful. Please, bad P-Dawg, bad P-Dawg. I'll spank myself later. Anyway, I don't know about that. Anyway, you can read that one. Also in the articles, apparently Jean Pirro is ripping Kamala a new rectum, and just for not, because she was so strong on the Kavanaugh allegations, but not so much on the allegations on Cuomo or even her boss, the president. But you can check that one out too yourself. I am really running out of time. Also, there apparently now one congressman has asked the Attorney General, Secretary of Treasury, to investigate funds raised by a left-wing charity platform citing terror concerns. Do you want to know? Do you want to know what that is? Richo, I'm going to time you out myself if you don't stop. Look, dude. In fact, come on. I'm asking you, please, no longer. I don't even want you to mention Becca's name anymore. Yeah, talk to other people and talk about things that have nothing to do with whatever you're talking about now, please. In fact, Richo, seriously, All right, we're moving on. Republican Tennessee Representative Tim Burchett sent a letter Thursday to. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you what this fundraising platform that they've asked to. The Attorney General has asked to investigate. Act Blue. Yes. Now we know that this request is absolutely going nowhere. You know what I mean? It's absolutely going nowhere. But he wants them to investigate them because it's based on money raised by Act Blue could have trickled down into the hands of groups such as Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, and also Black Lives Matter. Remember, because they use Black Lives Matter as a platform. But President Biden said he opposes the anti-Semitic BDS movement. I agree. We must stand by our ally Israel. That's why I'm asking the Biden administration to investigate Act Blue for allowing pro-BDS terror organizations to use its platform. That's very interesting. It has no way in hell going anywhere in the Biden administration because Act Blue is the kind of the Democratic fundraising platform. All right, let's move on. Watchdog accuses 3 House Democrats of ethics violations, day ending in Y. A trio of Democrats representatives violated House rules by linking to official press releases on their campaign websites, according to a government watchdog group. So we'll see where that goes. That's a slap on the wrist thing, but just the fact that they are actually watching Democrats is a good thing, But again, you're not allowed to put your official government press stuff connecting to your campaign site. So if they are found that, they will get a slap on the wrist. It's not a big deal, but it's interesting that they are actually checking on Democrats. All right. Mark Elias, he's the guy who does all the election lawsuits in states. Well, apparently he was sanctioned in Texas for violating ethic rules in a suit on behalf of Democrat Senate and congressional campaign committees. One of the Democratic Party's top election lawyers was hit with sanctions by a federal court for violating ethics rules in a suit against Texas over straight ticket voting, a rare rebuke for a seasoned attorney following months of a tumultuous litigation over the November election, according to Bloomberg. Elias and the other lawyers from the firm Perkins Coie were ordered by a U.S. Court of Appeals in New Orleans to pay legal fees and double costs to Texas as a result of the August suit. So you can read about that, but good, because he's He's kind of well, he's one of those, what's the word? Smarmy prick. Anyway. And then, again, I don't have time to get to all the rest of the articles. Let's just call it a day. You'll see what other articles were in the tabs if you're interested. And let's just do this. I'm going to say, oh, is Johnny Bonsacco here? Oh, hi, Johnny Bonsacco. I didn't even see you. Lurking while I read the news. Well, nice to see you. All right. I got to go, guys. It's that time. Thank you for being here today on the Morning Night Live. Before you do anything, click the like button if you haven't done that already. And I am here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT. I know the GMT because we're back in daylight savings time. I got it right this time. Oh, there's a bullshit article in the New York Times from this weekend I wanted to get to. It's Proud Boy propaganda in the New York Times. Maybe I'll get to that one tomorrow. Anyway, thank you guys for coming today. I am so happy that you are here. Hit the like button. If you haven't already shared the stream out, do that share arrow down there and send it somewhere on social media. Let someone else know about me. Our goal next, let's say, not by my birthday, which is April 4th coming up. My birthday's on Easter this year. I always hate it when my birthday's on Easter, but it is this year again. This has happened to me, I think, twice or maybe 3 times in my life. But anyway, I am going to do a birthday stream, or maybe I'll do a birthday week stream. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure that out, but I always like to do a birthday stream because it's just fun to do, and I'll have guests and all that stuff. So look forward to that. It won't be on my birthday though, because I'm not going to take a Lord's Day for those of you who are Christian and celebrate Easter. I'm going to do it probably before or after Easter, probably before Easter, maybe April 3rd. We'll figure it out. Anyway, look forward to that. Look forward to some new videos. I'm going to the doctor today to see if I have to get a new hip or a new knee or just some physical therapy. We'll find out. If they tell me, I may update you that on that. Blah 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 blah. I may update you on that tomorrow. But in the meantime, I hope you'll have a fantastic Monday. I gotta go. My name is P. Oh, thank you for the sponsors of the show today. Don Keating, Tall Person, Ex-Bubba Hotep, Gunfox 61, American Company, Black Hebrew Israelite. Thank you very much. My name is P. Dawg Knight. And I'm out of here. The links will be in the description in about 2 minutes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.